Hello everybody, and welcome to the newest episode following the 2016 NFL season. Welcome to week 11. I hope you're all ready, and I hope you're ready for some excellent games. I know I am. Let's get into the video, shall we? Start off with last week. I go a interesting 8-6. Not the kind of record I'm looking for, but you know, you win some games, you lose some games. Things happen. And there were some upsets. Let's be real here. There were some upsets. Including with Tennessee rolling by Green Bay like there's no tomorrow. I mean, home field advantage, maybe. But 47-25? Who saw that coming? Aaron Rodgers throwing 2 interceptions. Aaron Rodgers is not looking like old Aaron Rodgers. Philly, an off and on team, for whatever reason, beating the good teams. I don't know. And Carolina blowing a comeback. I don't even know anymore. Rest of the games, you can throw in a case right away. Seattle, New England, that was a 50-50 toss-up. Miami, San Diego, that's also a 50-50 toss-up. And then Minnesota and then Washington. It can go either way. So yeah, 83-62 and 2 on the season. Let's improve that as much as we can. Alright, let's go to our next thing. We have the most interesting game. A lot of interesting games going on this week, and by interesting I mean they're games. Because yeah, now we're starting in the second half of the season where we're all in this race. Because there are some teams who have their lead in the division, and then there are other teams who are like right in the thick of it and trying on. Like in the AFC, for those who are not in the lead of their division, they gotta step up because they have a AFC West team who all has 7 wins already. So they need to step up some wins and hope some losses come their way. Otherwise, they better hope they win the division. I'm looking at the AFC East right now as well because Miami and Buffalo, they're those tricky teams. They're looking tricky. It's all really depends on what happens in that AFC West team. Denver, Oakland, and KC. Now, you can break down either of them. With Denver, you know, great defense. Oakland, great offense. KC, a little bit of both. Honestly, not a fan. I don't trust KC. But, have your opinions. But for my most interesting game, I took a look at what's on the line right now. What's going on with teams and what do they need? What's going on? How are they going to be able to make progress? So I looked at a game that is a must-win for either of the teams, and I looked at Arizona going into Minnesota. Minnesota starting off on a 5-game win streak, being top of the NFL, like, we're all that. We the best in the biz, etc., etc. But now you're dropping 4 games. And not only do you drop 4 games, you drop some to some questionable teams. A Washington team who is not as good as some people like to say they are. To the Bears at their place, yeah, it's a divisional game, but the Bears are not that good. But, you know, you can't win every game. And then you lost to the Lions at home as well, at your home, which is going to sting a bit. And the Eagles won. The Eagles are a weird team. I don't understand them. I almost put the Eagles-Seahawks game on here because the Eagles are somehow relatively good against good teams. And does that make sense? No, but anywho, it doesn't matter. And then you got Arizona over here who is kind of a game or two behind Seattle, but they're still in the thick of things. Because that NFC East, those teams will collapse. I still don't believe that they're going to be sending any more than just the winner of the division, which at this rate will be the Cowboys. I don't see it. So, Arizona's still alive in it all. But they also got to step up because there are teams who are wanting to crack that playoff spot. And I think Seattle is going to do whatever they can to maintain their lead, and they will more than likely will. So Arizona's got to push for a wild card. But they got to be careful because they have, again, the NFC East team if for whatever reason one of them does break through. Then Minnesota and Green Bay, because right now Detroit's in the lead for their division. So they got to fight through those 2 teams who are going to do everything they can to make playoffs. Green Bay, I know they will. I'm not going to have Aaron Rodgers sit out of a postseason. I doubt that. Yeah, the team is struggling, but it's Aaron Rodgers we're talking about. to be fair. I'll get back to you on QBs because we were going on that today. But yeah, this is a must-win for either of these for both these teams. They need to get one and to help them stay alive in their playoff spots and in their division races. Second thing, we're going to look at most close scoring game. And I say most close scoring game, but this is also a partially most interesting game, and it's going to be a tight game as compared to the last time these two played. And I'm looking at Tennessee going to Indianapolis. Now, when they last played at Tennessee, it was a Tennessee favorite here because Indy was falling off a bit and Tennessee's on the rise. Tennessee lost that one, more or less. I don't know why I'm saying more or less. Tennessee actually lost that game. But, yeah. Tennessee now coming off what I believe is probably the most bizarre win from any team, really. One of the most, at least. Against the Green Bay team. Yes, they're struggling, but against Green Bay. They're like, yeah. Tennessee is like, eh. But now Tennessee, running that smash mouth offense, two really good running backs, and the QB who can run like a mother brother himself. We got an interesting race here. Tennessee needs this win to keep up, because Houston's going to take care of, because Houston's got Oakland, and I'm pretty sure Oakland's going to win that game, if Oakland is anything near the real deal. So Tennessee needs this win, so I'm expecting the Titans to play really well. But also, Indy needs this one to keep up on the race too, because they have fallen behind a little bit. Yes, they're only one win behind Tennessee, but like I said, Houston's going to fall off, more or less. If Houston beats Oakland, I'll be surprised personally, but this is a win to help whoever wins this game is going to be in the thick of it in this playoff race. So, it's a must-win for both teams. It will be tight, it will be close, it's divisional, things get real. And our final game, the biggest blowout game. I looked at the games this week. Not a lot of them really stood out as biggest blowout. There was one. I was off and on about it. But then I decided, what am I doing here? New England at San Fran. San Fran's been a mess of itself right now. Hasn't been the same team they were a couple of years ago. New England is a great team, and they're also coming off a bad loss on a rather questionable decision, just like their opponent the last time the two faced. Come on, y'all. On the one. Run the ball! Duh! Blunt's already gotten 3 touchdowns. And have you seen some of those rushing touchdowns? Dang. And I needed one more fantasy point, so Blunt giving me 6 more would have been fantastic. I mean, moving on. Yeah, high scoring for New England. San Fran will try to put up some points, probably throw some garbage points on in the end. But I have New England taking this one by a landslide. And that is it. Here are your Week 11 predictions. Now, I debated the Saints-Panthers game, but I decided to give New Orleans a sweep because I feel like at this rate, they're more in the playoff picture than Carolina is. Who knows? Who cares? Well, same with the Bills and Bengals. I debated that game back and forth, but the Bills' defense, I would say, is better than the Giants, at least from what I've seen. And Andy Dalton has a tendency to throw picks. I've seen it. He will. So I have the Bills edging it, but it'll be close. Still, the Browns, no surprise. This is also the first game where I predict the Ravens to lose, if anyone's been paying attention. Yes, call me a stubborn Ravens fan throughout the year, but at the rate Dallas is rolling, hard to go against them. Lions now realizing, hey, we have a lead in this division. We're going to try to keep up. And the Jaguars team who's been struggling, there's an easy one right there. Just don't fall apart. I give Tennessee over the Colts because Tennessee really wants this one. They need it. Chiefs over Bucks. I feel like the Bucks can pull an upset. And I say upset because I think KC is better, but I don't actually know who's favored currently. Because I don't know how Vegas works. I don't pay attention to those. I should. Oh well. Cardinals over Vikes. Cardinals need this one. And the Vikings are just falling apart right now, so I'm going to give it. Giants over Bears. The Bears, they're not good. Rams over Dolphins. Jared Goff's getting his first start. Can he beat the Dolphins? I think so. Pats over Niners. Seattle over Philadelphia. There is this part of me that feels like Philly's going to somehow win this game because Philly team seems to be being big, tough teams. Packers get back on track against the Redskins. The Raiders beat Texans on Monday night. That's all. Your Super Bowl 51 prediction. I wanted to dock New England. I wanted to. But part of me felt like there's not enough evidence to dock them. Because had they made that completion or had they ran the ball, they would have probably gotten the touchdown, tied the game up, gone to OT. Who knows what would have happened there. Dallas, again, beating a team who some say is playing crappy, but is a better team than most in the AFC. After some crazy... And of course, I missed the game because my friends are douches. I didn't say that out loud. But yeah, Dallas got a great win and much well needed. And now they're the best team in the NFL. Believe that. Ain't that something? Now, again, like we like to go through, bring you back to the league where I'm in. Nathan beats me because, you know, LeGarrette Blount doesn't get the ball when they need it the most on the 1 yard line. Although, to be fair, my receivers did not perform well. I'm trying to load that up right now. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, what a waste of a pick he's been. Not doing anything. Mike Evans a little underperforming, but, you know, Tampa Bay's hard to trust. And then Brandon Marshall. Something's up with the Jets. Trusted. And now looking at that lateral play, how it was really cool. Had Brandon Marshall made that touchdown, I would have won. Yeah, I benched Des Bryant and Allen Robinson because they had not been performing well. Heck, even Dak Prescott did better than Carson Palmer. So, yeah, had I started any of those guys, I would have won, easily. But oh well, I didn't win, whatever. We are now on to week 11, where the stakes are high because we're rushing to the playoffs. Our playoffs, I believe, are week 15 and 16. So now, it's a race between everyone. Sean's win over Chris and my loss to Nathan somehow boosts Sean up to the first place in our league. So, Sean's in first currently. I stay at a mid-second but tied with Sean. Nathan's win keeps him alive and relatively close to everyone with that 6-4 record. James beats Keith in a very low-scoring affair, mainly because those two don't know how to swap out players when they're on buys or anything. Oh, well, whatever. And, Jared beat Micah. Jared going on a 5-win streak and winning a close one. Sean beating Chris to maintain his hopes alive. You have all the records there, the rankings. We got only a couple more weeks left. We'll see how it goes. Now, normally I would end here, but I got to knowledge some people's. So in this lovely Facebook group I'm now a part of called the NFL YouTube Prognosticators, a good old individual brought up the debate. I don't remember your name, I apologize, but you brought up a debate that has to be debated. And I'm a master at debating. Anywho, we brought up top quarterbacks in the NFL. So, I practically told him that they're really the same thing. It's the same 5 right now. Like, let's be real here. Here, I found it. Logan. Logan. Here, buddy. Let me tell you something here, Logan. I'm not disagreeing with you. The list is up for debate. You can make it how any way you want it. But we practically all agree. Top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL. I screwed up my setting up for this, but whatever. Hello. There it is. Took forever. I don't know. I screwed up. I tried to do cool transitions. Whatever. But here you go. These are practically the top 5 QBs. Brady's at 1 for obvious reasons. He's been in the NFL long enough. 4 rings. Say what you want about his career, but they're arguing for him to be better than Joe Montana. So, I mean, for obvious reasons there. 2 and 3, again, that's up for debate. Drew Brees or Aaron Rodgers. Over their careers, they've been pretty equal for the most part. I gave Drew Brees the edge. Slightly because of biasism, because I'm not a fan of the Packers. But, more or less, I think Brees is legitimately a better quarterback. than Aaron Rodgers. And then, again, the case can be made for 4 and 5 between Ben and Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, although his career is relatively young, has done a lot in his time. More or less aided by a good defense. But we can bring up the debate that a good defense helps out a lot of teams. Whatever. I put Ben ahead mainly because of his experience. He has more experience. He's done this more. And he's done well. You can't argue. And now some honorable mentions, because I'm going to bring up some honorable mentions for the sake of it. Newton, he's on his way. You got to give a brother some time. He had one good season, and now his team's falling apart. More, you can blame who was responsible for letting go of Josh Norman. Bad decision. Hey, you can't win them all. Eli Manning, 2 Super Bowls, you can't argue with that. And he's one of those great quarterbacks in that 04 QB class. Andrew Luck, who's on his way, being one of the best QBs of all time. I have faith in that. Relatively young, but only the only good player on his team. And he's had a beautiful start to his career, going to the playoffs in his first, 3 seasons. And then in year 4 got that injury. Now year 5 he's literally got to drag this team by himself. Not easy. Flacco, he's had a good career. 10-5 postseason record. Super Bowl under his belt. Super Bowl MVP. And I'm a stubborn Ravens fan and I want to put Flacco on this list. Deal with it. Got Rivers. He hasn't won a whole lot, but hey, he's a great QB. And he's why San Diego flourishes the way they do. And then Matthew Stafford. Yes, he had a Calvin Johnson to aid him throughout the way, but you gotta give him credit, because he's a decent quarterback. He is worthy of that number 1 overall draft pick he was drafted in. Back when he was drafted. I can't remember what year that was, but 09. But yeah, you gotta give him credit. He's really good, and especially this season right now, he's looking really good. A sneaky MVP candidate, some might say. But you have it there. Now, I left off 2 names that a lot of people are going to probably yell at me in the comment section for. One of them being Alex Smith. I'm iffy on Alex Smith. Because, he hasn't done really a whole lot. Yeah, I'm trying to go back through his career. I don't really remember a whole lot that he did. But his KC stuff, not impressive. Yeah, bringing them back from 1-5 to 11-5 season, beating the Texans 39-0 in the playoffs. Sure. But the Chiefs of the team don't impress me. And Alex Smith is not... I don't want to say he's overrated, but he's not a top 10 QB in my opinion in the NFL. Put it that way, he's not a top 10 in my eyes. And then Matt Ryan, who in the same class as Flacco, who's had relatively the same success for the most part. And you can argue he's had a better receiving core than Flacco has throughout his career. I don't really remember if Flacco was young in years, because I didn't start watching football until a couple of years ago. But it's... I don't know, you go out through the careers of each player and you look at who has been more referenced, who's succeeded more and who's done more. And of the 2 quarterbacks from the 08 class, I would have to say Flacco has done a lot more than Matt Ryan. Now, could Matt Ryan change that this year and prove to me that he's a better QB? And deserves to be on a top 5, top 10 list? Maybe. We'll have to see. And I apologize for making this a long video, but I had to acknowledge some people here. Logan, brother, talk to me. We can talk top QBs all you want. And same for everyone else. Gio, Hatbox, all y'all. Hit me up. We can talk words. Same for you, Mr. Warren. Alright, that is all for me today. Thank you all for watching. You are all fabulous people. And I'm hoping I get, 100% correct on my predictions. Will I? No, because the NFL hates me. Oh well. Make sure you all like, rate, comment, subscribe. Tell me what I said that made you think I'm stupid. And tell me who your favorite NFL team is. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.